defranking the Franken org. So the basic idea is very simple. We have legacy orgs, and we want to make sure how to clear the technical debt and make your orgs Agentforce ready. My name is Misbah. I'm a Salesforce technical architect, community group leader, and co-organizer of Dubai Dreaming. So there are a couple of things why we really need to clean up our technical debt or legacy orgs. There are a couple of reasons. First thing is whenever we are evaluating any org. So one of the biggest reason we face this challenge is that most of the time we start compromising things. One team is working on something, another team is working on something else, and at the end when they combine everything, then it's completely something new. And with the passage of time, we face new challenges, and nobody has any time to fix such things. But r- really, why it matters for the Agentforce? If you might have noticed, so anybody before we start, anybody joined us during TDX 26 Agentforce challenge, and then after that, well architected framework? Okay. So basically, why it is a series. So first of all, what we wanted you to know, to understand the Agentforce, what exactly is why agentic framework matters. Then after that, we went through the well architected framework. So the basic concept is whenever somebody needs to develop something in Salesforce, they need to consider Salesforce well architected framework across the 3 dimension, how it works, what exactly they need to look for. And why it matters, because whenever we are evaluating or auditing any org, we evaluate based on the Salesforce well architected framework, that whether this org is scalable, it does. What about the security, what about the data quality, what about the deployment methodologies? So this is exactly why we need to look at it before we jump into the Agentforce. So why we came up with the new idea of having this legacy or cleanup? Because we kept many people kept asking us the same question. That's because everywhere else, if you see even Salesforce marketing materials or the new Salesforce Trailhead, everybody's talking about how to build Agentforce. Tutorials, Trailhead, Salesforce marketing material, it all assume a clean modern org with the as a starting point. So you have a clean org, it's fine. But what about the other 90% of us, the one who inherited org, the one who is running in a production since API version 29, the one where nobody has run a proper health check in years, partly because the old tool. There is one reason also that Modernizer, this one, Salesforce Optimizer, is no longer available. It is available, but it's already retired. And many people are even unaware of how to run these kind of tools. Okay. So why it matters in 2026? So Agentforce is something, it's not going to be, some people were just making fun of Agentforce, that it's just something which Salesforce is doing marketing about. But technically, if you see, agentic framework is everywhere, and it's no longer a feature. It's a platform direction. You might have noticed during the connection now, even for the marketing material, they have introduced new agents. So same thing is, even they have recently introduced Agentforce co-working and Agentforce for setup. So even your setup, like admin tasks, you can perform it through Agentforce. So every product decision Salesforce is making, Data Cloud, Einstein Trust Layer, DevOps Center, MuleSoft integration pattern, it is designed around the assumption that AI agents are the first-class citizen in your org. So when you are talking about Agentforce or AI agents, it does not mean it is replacing the humans. It means they are going to assist humans. It is like the repetitive task, whatever humans are doing, they will automate it. So first thing, when we have in Agentforce in 2026, we have Atlas Reasoning Engine, the LLM orchestration layer underneath Agentforce. So what it does, it receives user messages whenever user is talking to it, breaks it into step, decide which action needs to be taken, and then based on that, it handles the error and returns the response. So just to give you a brief about agentic framework, it's nothing more than that. It receives user requests, and then based on that, it translates into actions. So what, for example, just to give you a brief, whenever somebody is asking Gemini, we need to know what is the current weather in Dubai. So what it does, it does not know what exactly you are asking. It just understands, oh, I need to know about weather and in specific city. So it calls that specific web service and returns the data. So that's exactly what Atlas Reasoning Engine is doing. Then Agent Builder. So it was called Agentforce Builder, but as of spring 26, they have renamed it to Agent Builder. It is the primarily configuration ID for agents. You define topics, actions, instructions, and grounding here. And it's the workspace where everything in episode 8, we will look into it. And anybody who has attended TDX 26 Agentforce Challenge, this is the what legend and innovator trail covered. Then we have Agentforce topics or agent topics. It is the domain your agent operates in. Think of them as job description, what the agent handles, what's in scope, and critically, what's out of scope. For example, you define it as that you are a support um, agent. So your primary job is to respond to user requests and perform the solution. So that's exactly what Agentforce topics are. The out of scope definition matters as much as in scope. So you need to explicitly define what exactly you can do and what you cannot do. Then the number 3, it comes the agent actions. It is atomic unit of work. An action can be an Apex invocable method, an auto launch flow, a prompt template, or any external services. Every action has typed input and output that reasoning engine used to decide when and how to call it. So think of it like whatever action you want somebody, same like human, when you click a button, it will generate a PDF. So same thing, you want and some action you want agent to perform. Then we have Agentforce Testing Center. So as of now, it is generally available within and what it does, it is a structured testing environment for agent. So you define your test scenario, expected outputs, and pass fail criteria, and then based on that, you run regression test automatically. That's what we will cover it also in episode 8. Then we have Data Cloud. So Data Cloud, think of it as a knowledge layer. So agent, they just don't query your CRM only. They can ground this reasoning around Data Cloud. So Data Cloud is basically, you can create a unified profile of your customer when you can ingest data from multiple systems. For example, you have a big enterprise which has Oracle, which has SAP, which has your CRM or some other system, and each has unique profile of customer. But when some customer calls your call center, how call center can actually know that this issue is related to invoicing or this is related to order management system? So Data Cloud provide a unified profile of that customer where you can ingest data, you can create a golden profile, and you can perform many other actions. So without Data Cloud, your Agentforce world is just only limited to CRM. That's a capability ceiling. Then we have Einstein Trust Layer. So the trust layer is actually your security architecture, ensuring that your data never trains any model. So personal identifiable information that is masked before reaching any LLM. For example, let's say somebody contacts an agent through our website. He is providing his information. So when LLM is processing that information, Einstein Trust ensures that LLM does not know the real information about this person. So it grounds that data and masks that data. So, and every agent interaction is logged for audit with Einstein Trust Layer. Then we have something new called digital wallet. So it is something that where you track your consumption of Agentforce features. So monitor credit, usage alerts, understand cost of each agent conversation. Because previously, if you are unaware of it, that earlier days it was $2 per conversation. Then they changed it to flex credits, and you know any interaction with the agent will cause something. So if it is not properly configured, it will cause problem. It will cause overbilling, similar like the way you are using Chat GPT or Claude. So that's why we have another product called the Digital Wallet, where you can monitor your consumption and you can actually control your agents accordingly. All of this sound great, and it is, but every single component here has a prerequisite. The reasoning engine needs clean, structured data, agent action, and need reliable, tested code, and trust layer needs a real permission model. Data cloud needs quality data worth unifying. But reality as of today, many of the legacy orgs may not meet those requirements. And let's figure out what exactly happens and why they struggle. For example, the first very common issue which we face is duplicate accounts and contact. So what will happen when somebody contacts and try to identify him as a from XYZ company? Agents can return wrong customer contacts. So let's say we have 5 customer duplicates. So we don't know where exactly which customer it will pick, and it will create an opportunity under. Because humans can see, they can figure out data quality and things by looking into data, but agents cannot. For them, you just need to perform them an action, which how to look for an account and what action they need to perform. Same thing is with like your active workflow rules. Yes, you cannot create new workflow rules, but I have seen many orgs where workflow rules are still there. So what exactly problem it will create? It will create unpredictable side effects when agents fire records, because your workflow rules, your triggers, your flows, everything run into the same context. And when workflow rules are also there, it will cause some issues. Then we have system profiles everywhere. So again, then you cannot manage the least privilege, because agents similar to like human agents, human employees, agents are supposed to have a specific profile and access to specific data. So if everybody is a system admin, then you cannot configure a proper security model. Then very common issue which we saw is SOCL inside Apex loop. This is it's also just not only SOCL. There are many other things. For example, Apex governance issues. So what is the biggest problem with that? If these things are not sorted out, whenever agent is performing some action, it will hit the governance limit. So for example, when you are trying to, a customer is contacting agent, please initiate a replacement, which will require canceling the old order, creating a new order. And then if in that case, if our system is not optimized properly, what it will happen, it will just break while executing or creating something. Then we have issue with the API, non-API versioning strategy. So again, if we don't know about the legacy API things, so whenever something new is as soon Salesforce is upgrading something, our code will start breaking. Then this is a very, very common issue with hard coding org specific IDs. So I saw many people, what they do, org specific IDs, they hard code it in labels or somewhere within the code itself. But with Agentforce, it would cause a problem, because within your sandbox, your IDs may be different. Again, and across the other environment, these are IDs may be different. So that's why whenever you test in staging environment, it might not work in the production. Then also, we noticed even as of today, many people, they are still using change sets. Then, and if you don't have any source code methodology, then you cannot deploy and roll back agents configuration. We have another issue of undocumented integrations, that many people, they just connect systems. Now, in this case, agents might have a problem with the retrieving data from some other systems, which nobody remembers that it already exists. Then we have no data cloud connection, and we say that if data cloud connection is not there, then it means it will be just limited to the Salesforce data. You cannot create integrations with external systems. And again, the credit monitoring. That if something is, you are not monitoring your credits properly, yes, it might hit the limit, and it might overbill you. So how this series will work? So we will go through the 8 lens framework. So today, this is the first episode where we will be doing the discovery. So what we are going to do, we will try to know how actually, as a technical architect, we audit the org. So we try to understand how exist and build the complexity scorecard and find the hot zone. The next session will be about the metadata, like how we identify the dead metadata, dangerous code patterns, structural issues, and clean what's deployed. The third session will be about data architecture. So how we can score our data quality, how we can connect data cloud, build the golden record, and classify data for a trust layer. The fourth session in this series will be about the full automation estate. So workflow rules, work process builder, flows, and then design action. Because all these 4 things get executed at the same time. So we really need to understand how we can clean up our automation. This is one of the critical point which many people they missed, that they don't know when exactly they need to use flows, when they need to use triggers, when should and how should they optimize this flow and triggers across the enterprise level. Then fifth session we will have about the security, the how to actually audit this permission model build, and how we can create agent specific permission sets. It's not specific to Agentforce only. You can consider it as if you need to audit your org, and how we can configure our security model. Then the sixth we will have about the governance and DevOps, that how we can create real CI/CD pipeline, source-driven deployments, and how we can control our deployment patterns. Then the seventh one will be the integration. So we will talk about how we can create inventory of our all integrations, how we can modernize our name credentials, platform events, MuleSoft patterns. So this episode we will cover about the integration. And then the last episode, it will be about the Agentforce readiness. So whatever we learned across last 7 sessions, we will try to implement in that one, and that we will have a demo with the our panels. So I will talk about the rewards, that what exactly how we are going to win something here. Because in the last episode, we will have a panel of judges, and we will demonstrate our orgs. And if they will select one of the orgs which is clean and processed across all 7 episodes, so then based on that, we will announce the winner. So what exactly you are going to win? So there are 3 layer of rewards. So first thing is the modernization challenge. So what somebody needs to do, somebody needs to bring their org. It doesn't matter whether they bring their production org or some sample code. So participants use the lens 8 framework, 8 lens framework to assess their own Salesforce org and track improvement across each week. And final submission on the episode 7, then they will submit the score, screenshot evidence, and a 200 words written summary, what exactly they changed and why. And then based on their improvement, the judges will announce that whether they liked it or they did not like, and what exactly is it. And one winner will be selected. Then the second one reward is the community legend. So community builder, consultant, advocates. So what they are going to do, they are going to earn points every week. So how you can earn points? You can attend the live session, commenting on episode posts, sharing content, tagging colleagues, posting original content. So it's all about the marketing stuff. So if you are sharing the contents and sharing your knowledge along with that, then you can submit your answer on the live questions, and you can earn also by referring new community members. And we will try to update a community board every week. And the third one is the weekly wise. So it is open to everyone. So we are going to ask some knowledge question after the session on LinkedIn, and then whoever is providing correct answers, they will earn one entry into the final prize draw. So you can For each episode, you can provide your answer, and based on that, a winner will be randomly selected. Okay, so let's start. Just let me give you a brief about these things, because then we will directly jump into the demo org. So whenever as a part of discovery, so when somebody says like we need to audit our org, so we need to configure those discovery across all 5 different categories. So how we categorize it? So first of all, we look into the structural discovery. So first we see org stats. So for example, what is the API version this org is running on, number of sandboxes which exist, which edition it is, whether it's a professional, unlimited, or any other uh, edition, storage optimization, how much is the current storage, what exactly objects are consuming. Then second thing we look into it is the object inventory, your standard versus custom object, how many object exist, usage frequency, relationship between each object. Then the third thing we look into it is the code volume, Apex classes, trigger, LWC, Aura, Visual Force pages. Then we look into the package inventory. So how many external packages you have installed on your org, your managed, unmanaged, second generation, or any number of packages. Then we look into the integration hooks, name, credentials, connected app, external services. So that's what we look into it as a architectural level, as the structure of org. Then second thing what we look into it is how your objects, your fields, your page layout, and custom metadata is used. For example, field level, population rate. You have fields, but it may not have data. So that is something which we need to look into it, that how many fields actually have data. Then we have page layout adoption. The how many page layouts we have, and whether those are really used or we just need to remove it. I just saw one org, and for one object they had around 29 layouts, and out of those 29 layouts only 2 were used. And I asked them why you kept on creating new layouts. They said because business asked, add these fields, remove those fields, so rather than modifying the same layout what we did, we just every time we were creating a new layout. Then we have reports and dashboard staleness. So this is one of the very common problem across orgs. I remember some years ago we uh, migrated one legacy org into new one, and there were around 5,000 reports which were they were asking, can you migrate those? And we clearly said no, we cannot migrate those reports, because all you need to do is you just need to look into the last run uh, time when this report was last run. Because it is easier for people to see data, create reports. So every single time they will just create a new report, save data, or perform some action, and then they just leave it as it is. So you just need to look into the last run date retrieval. Then you will understand whether this report really need to exist or that you just need to remove it. Then another thing is the feature adoption, that whether somebody enabled some feature and then after that they really use it or they just don't care about it. And same thing, like we just need to look into the Einstein credit consumption, that it is really configured, we are able to see or no. Then the most critical point, it's the automation discovery, because this is something which is also a rule, something for your debugging, your support team, which also look into it. Not only just at the legacy thing. For example, workflow rules inventory. Do you still use workflows? How many are active? Then how many process builders exist, whether those are deployed. Even as of today, Salesforce does not allow creation of new process builder, but still they exist. So you need to document those. Then Apex trigger pattern, whether you are performing something, you have multiple Apex triggers, do you have DML chains, call outs, what exactly is happening with triggers. Then flow inventory, because this is something I also noticed in the orgs, that people kept on creating flows, because Salesforce was in marketing it, that everything things should be flow. And then at the end, people end up having 500 flows in their system. So you really need to document how many, how complex, and how they are tested. Then flow execution frequency, that which flow executes exactly when. Then we have, so when the fourth level is we start asking these questions from people. So people who are actually managing the Salesforce org. So what we do, we ask them what breaks most often. So for example, people in support or business user, they know what exactly breaks. So at least this, it can be our starting point. And one of the very common thing, what are you scared to change? So that is exactly your risk register. So if there is an integration you are scared to change, that means it's a risk. So you really need to record it and try to mitigate it, that what exactly happens. So undocumented integrations, so maybe people are unaware of, but your longest tenured admin, he might be aware of it, what exactly, who built it. And if not, then your starting point is just to try to get information about it. And most important thing is about the data, that who owns what, the human behind profile, permission set, who has access to data, what actions they can perform. And Salesforce can provide the information about that through different tools. And then the last thing is, which is the Agentforce readiness discovery. So how we do it, that data cloud connection status, data stream, whether we have configured any Einstein feature, whether which feature is enabled, how many licenses we have, API limit and consumption. Then we have permission set architecture, maturity, then name, credential, external services inventory, data classification status. Data classification is a very critical point, because we need to know which data is critical. For example, which fields are capturing personal identifiable information or financial information. Then we have digital wallet setup, that credit monitoring, is it active or not. Okay. So primarily we use different tools. But since Salesforce Optimizer is retiring, so Salesforce is recommending to use OrgCheck. It is provided by Salesforce Labs. And what it does, you can install it on your org. You can do object analysis, automation complexity graph. So you can actually know which field is used, and it can create heat maps accordingly. And even for your automation complexity, automation per object, overlapping triggers, it can provide that information also. Your technical depth score, composite review across the org, and permission set gaps, it can provide you information even for the Apex test coverage. So let me explain the other two tools, and then we will directly jump into installing these packages. Second package you might be aware of, the Salesforce Inspector Reloaded. It is an extension you can install directly on your Chrome, Firefox, or Microsoft Chromium, a Microsoft Edge browser. And it is open source. It is managed by Salesforce now. It was previously owned by somebody else, but they made it open source, and now community is managing. And mostly it is Salesforce itself. So what it can do, you can instantly run SOQL queries. It will provide you your field usage, object browser. It can provide metadata inspector and API usage dashboard. It provides even you can install, you can import and export data through Salesforce Inspector. And the last one is the Salesforce CLI. Salesforce CLI, every developer must know, because it is your do they call it, the Swiss Army knife for Salesforce developers. So you can control your full org through Salesforce CLI. So let me just try to stop sharing. So, and this is our window. Okay. Let's see the first tool. So all you have to do is, where is our app exchange, or you can directly go into the Salesforce OrgCheck. So I just created a demo org for this purpose, and so this is the Salesforce OrgCheck. It is owned by Salesforce Labs. You can install it, get it now. Let me just check, because it is going directly into, okay, so it now. Here, Franken. Okay, install for admin only. Let's see. Meanwhile, let me try to do one thing. Agentforce Vibe. Let me open my ID. And we have GitHub. So we created a dirty org. So the full source code is available here, which you can install and configure it. We'll share the code link. So while it is installing, anybody would like to share anything?
Misbah, I want to ask one thing. Like, I wanted to check, like, do we need to perform these steps, like, with you, or like it is just you are going to be showcase and we needs to be performed after the demo and all in our
No,
personal org?
you can do it on your personal org. So this source code is available. Like this is a test code, which is it
Okay.
is just producing the dirty org.
Mm-hmm.
And you can sign up for your own org, Agentforce org, and it has the code information that, for example, the episode 1, it has related to data. And what I'm going to do is I'm just trying to, I deployed the object, and now I just need to configure the profile. So it has access to those fields, and I will import the data, and then we will see how actually OrgCheck performs those operations. So we have account.
So, Misbah, for these activity, we need to create our Agentforce orgs, right, Misbah? It will not work our old personal orgs,
Yeah, it will
correct?
not. It can work if you have data in those orgs.
Okay, if we download these the code which you are giving, still we can use our old orgs, Misbah?
Yes, you can use orgs. Because any org, this is just a sample code to give you an idea about what dirty data means. So for example, here we will insert the duplicate data. Where is my agent force? And what I'm going to do is, okay,
So we don't need any Agentforce buttons to be available.
no, not agent force button. It is just to give you an idea. For example, the first thing what we are going to show you how this org check works.
Okay. Okay, Misbah. Even for the further also, we can use our old orgs.
Yeah, you can use your old org. Just
Okay.
key.
Hello, Misbah. We can do this in sandbox, right? Just
You
to.
you can do it in sandbox also.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Because I was testing it that time. Just give me a second. But exactly data bulk import. So here what I'm trying to do is I'm just loading junk data into my account object. And that is data slash, because it, okay, let me just, okay. So I'm just starting and here, bulk data jobs. So it has created records. Okay. So now let's jump into our org check. So this is the basic dashboard of it. And let me try to do something here. So it will provide you information about your org. So full org, everything, it will be listed here. That what's wrong with your org. For example, if you have hard-coded IDs, we will show you this thing in automation. And when we are doing the code cleanup thing, that it can provide you the information about where exactly you have this problem. And welcome. Let me try to expand it. Where it is. Based on your org, it may take some time, because if you have heavy data, it will take some time to generate reports. So somebody, Abdul Rahman is asking. Abdul Rahman, there is a source code. It's a GitHub repository. It has full information about the 8 episodes, what exactly it contains. It has data files, which I loaded into my org. So what you can do is you can go into this episode map. So for example, the E1 episode 1 discovery, it will tell you that you can create duplicate data using this org. But first you need to do is you may need to deploy those objects. So there are certain objects like account which has some nasty fields. You need to deploy those, configure the permission set, and then after that you can load data. So for example, the next episode where we have bad code, so there is example of bad code classes, so which you might need to deploy it to your org, and then you can test it. And let me see it. Okay, data model. Okay, for example, custom fields. See, that's when I loaded the nasty data, it is trying to show me that with exactly this is which is has a problem score to it, and it even scores that. So it will provide you information about your all metadata and your level of your fields within your Salesforce org. Same thing with the page layouts. If you have more page layouts, then it will provide you information, validation rules, your web link, even for your security and access, that if there are profile, for example, it is saying these are the profile which has problem permission sets, it will even provide you information about which permission sets are incorrectly configured, where you have security overlapping security permissions. Global view, why it is not running? Let it run. Meanwhile, we will try to do something else. So this is the one which we are talking about, the Salesforce Inspector Reloaded. So you can do data export and import. You can do same thing. It will provide you information about the different users, download metadata, REST Explorer, even monitor. So you can perform such actions through that, or level information that if there are Apex logs, you can also look into it here. But mostly people, they are using it for object queries. You can actually even see it, for example, account. If we see account object, fields, record types, list, access. So let's say if we look into the fields, it will take us to the same page within the setup page of our org. There is a download metadata, explore API. So here you can actually, the API, if you have, it is the standard Salesforce API. I think you can call the custom API also from here. And yeah, let's see if check is complete. So it will provide you, for example, here number of things. Once it will run, you can actually look into it. What exactly it will provide you a 360 view, 360-degree view of your org. So for us, from data perspective, all you need to see is the data model, object documentation, objects, custom field, whether this field has data. It will provide you the heat map also, that how many of these fields actually have records, page layouts, validation rules. So you can install it on your org, even on your production or sandbox org, and it will provide you information about what's wrong with your org. And then you can download and document it and keep it for monitoring purpose. Even same thing, you can execute your queries related to your metadata explorer. For example, you can see how many entities we have where customization is not the custom objects. I think in this org, we don't have any custom object. Then, for example, you can query your API consumptions even from here. Org limit, daily API. I think this is, I need to enable something on the org level. Okay. Let me show you something which everybody was asking. Okay. How actually we calculate the org complexity score. So first thing, we look into it, how many custom objects we have. And then based on that, let's say we have 83. So based on that, we score 1 to 5. That what is the, it doesn't matter that you, it does not mean that you have more custom objects and it is a bad thing, because based on your business logic, you might require to have many custom objects, maybe in hundreds. But based on the org assessment, you need to score it by yourself, whether those custom objects are really used or somebody just created and forgot about it. Because I have seen such things. Then the repetitive objects where both objects are storing same type of data. So that's based on your OrgCheck. You really need to look into it, that which, how many records they have, what exactly they are storing, and then based on that you need to score your org. Then apex test coverage, if you have less, then you need to really list it down, that below 75 it is critical, because you cannot deploy. I have seen an org, what they had created, they created magic classes. So what magic class was, they create 35,000 line of code, and then 35,000 they were covering it with some test class. And when they were executing all tests, so because overall test coverage was increasing, so they were able to deploy. So, and they were skipping the test coverage. Also, I saw another org, what they used to do, they used to put everything in one line and they write one, just call the test class, and it was covering it. See, objective of this test coverage is, if your objective is just to, apply, just pass the test coverage and deploy, then you are already failing as an architect. Because the concept behind this test coverage is you try to simulate every possible scenario and try to evaluate whether this, whatever functionality we are rolling out, is it really working or not. I remembered earlier days, maybe 12 or 13 years ago, when Salesforce advanced developer exam was there, they used to send us a real life scenario, and then you had to cover that scenario through test coverage, that what exactly each step is doing. For example, you are configuring, you are receiving a lead, then after that qualifying into account, then creating opportunity, then adding product to opportunity. So exactly what will happen in the each step. And that's why you have assert statements. Now, in context of Agentforce, you also need to cover that thing. Not because you need to have 75% test coverage, but try to think of it as something you need to be sure that whenever your system agent is performing some action, you know what exactly the outcome should be. Then we have automation complexity. This is one of the very critical point. Like, You have multiple workflow rules. So what is your strategy related to migrating those? You have process builders, you have flows. So I was assessing one org, and it had, let's say, around 30 conditional nodes within one flow, and they were very proud of doing it. And then when we ass- discussed it with them, and we told them, guys, this is exactly as bad as having 30 flows on your same object. Because imagine trying testing those scenarios within the same flow. You have 30 different conditional nodes. You don't know where exactly and how it will go. And especially for the support guys, they will suffer. So if you have old workflow rules, process builder, so you need to score it accordingly, because you have significant migration ahead. Then you have profile architecture, how many profiles you are using, how many permission sets you are using. So if your org strategy is still not that we are not going to use permission set, then you have a significant migration ahead, because you really need to control your permissions through permission sets. Because Salesforce is trying to enforce is that they are recommending everything should be through permission sets, not through profiles. Then again, data quality signals, that based on that, what is the value population on field population on each object, how much data your objects which field has, and accordingly you rate your score. Because if your field has missing data, I will give you very small example. Let's say your agent is looking into your data and it has missing value. So agent cannot predict action. For example, your based on your status, like 30 of your orders have status, and two status is because those were migrated from legacy system, does not have any clear status message. Now it will create ambiguity for Agentforce. So you really need to consider which data you are exposing to Agentforce. You should be aware of that. Data quality matters here. Then you have package dependency, that how exactly you will deploy, how many managed unmanaged package. Then accordingly you, whether they, how you deploy your code, your pipeline, so you score accordingly. Then API integration counts. So like more name credential, it means more risk of that you are exposing your information. Because Salesforce recommends that you always use some enterprise service bus when you are connecting things from and back to Salesforce. Like you use MuleSoft, Oracle Integration Cloud, Informatica. So your Salesforce environment is not exposed to somewhere else. So that is something also, if you need to do that, your integration audit. Then DevOps maturity, that if you are in 2026 still using change sets, then it's a really questionable thing. So then that accordingly, then you score that out of these all dimensions, where exactly your org stands, and then based on that you assess your maturity of your org. Okay, so that's it from my side today. So anybody would like to share or ask anything? Nobody? Nothing?
Hi, Misbah.
Yeah, share. Yeah.
Yeah. So in next session, are we going to do the hands-on with you? So how it will be?
No, actually, I will just show you how you do assessment. Even like today, what you can do, you can download this package. You can create your own org. You can install the OrgCheck or other tools, and you can run it on your own org. Because
Okay.
objective is you should be aware of how you need to do the assessment, how
Yeah,
you need
exactly.
to track.
Yes, correct, 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 correct. Yeah, got it, got it. Thank you so much.
Mishra, one question I wanted to be asked is like, let it be if we have an org and
Mhm.
we wanted to be implement an Agentforce. So what I've seen is people have an idea about Agentforce, like there will be some setup needs to be required, and there are different model with that we can use it. So as per
Okay.
your experience, what all are the best practices that you can like suggest, like if we wanted to be implement from scratch as Agentforce? So this is all the things we should keep it in the mind. Definitely the org cleanup, which you already covered today, but on the high level, from the technical side, there should be only one agent, or the
No, no.
instructions should be limited, or any kind of a recommendation you can give.
See, there are multiple things. Let me see. I don't know if you have seen that it's just not only one thing. There are multiple things, for example, and why it matters. For example, uh, first of all, are you sure about your data quality? Because agent
Mhm,
works based on those data quality. Second thing is your automation. Your automation, let's say if you have overlapping automation things, for example, workflow rules, your flows, your process builder, and then you trigger. Now try to think you are adding an extra layer above that. So you are
mhm,
now adding agent force actions. So when somebody
mhm,
is trying to perform some action, now agent force action will get triggered. Now if you try to visualize that process, so you that's why
mhm,
it is important you assess your org based on multiple through multiple lenses. So first of all, where exactly we are standing, how many automations do we have, whether our data quality is optimal or not, our code quality. So th-
mhm,
that's why it matters. So I
mhm,
think we mentioned here, so for example, structural delivery, org stats, object inventory. Try to think agent force, at least with the uh, human employees, they can make noise. If something is not working, imagine agent force, what it will do. So most of the, for example, if you miss your data quality, if you miss your permission sets configuration, if you miss your integration cleanup, it will
mhm,
fail, and it will silently fail. And try to think of it, a customer, see, why customer is going to approach you when they are frustrated, and he's already
mhm,
frustrated for something, and now your agent is making him more frustrating.
mhm.
So
Got
you
it.
really need to think of, let's say you have an idea. For example, you want to automate case deflection. Okay, very well and good. Case deflection, you need to look into it, what exactly you mean when you want to agent to do. For example, customer, let's walk through the process itself. Customer logs in. Okay, very well and good. Customer, so first question is whether it will be a authenticated customer, or it will be just somebody, a guest user, somebody coming from a website. So if let's say coming through website, it means customer is not authenticated, so we need to ask customer some question to verify his identity. Now imagine you have a duplicate data, same
Mhm,
contact or account or email address is linked now with multiple accounts or contacts. So imagine what your agent will do. So
mhm,
first thing is it will be confused. Then second thing is, if we don't have proper permission sets, imagine somebody is injecting something, asking him to delete this account or delete specific uh, or update any data. So your agent will update it because it has no idea about what it is doing.
mhm,
So you really
got
need to, whenever th- that's actually gap here, because whenever you will look into Salesforce marketing material or other stuff, they are always assuming you have a clean org with clean data, but the
mhm,
other org which are there, nobody is talking about that. That's why we started this series, that okay, let's guide
mhm,
people. I think you missed the last 3 sessions. We started with the well architected framework, because
mhm,
well architected framework is the baseline for your next work. Because if you are aware of
mhm,
the how well architected framework works, then based on that you start assessing your org.
mhm. Got it.
You can look into it through this one. Let me share the well
Mishra,
architected.
today's this PPTs and all will be shared, already been shared, or
Well, no, we can share this one once. So this is actually well architected framework. You can go through this one. What does trusted mean? Secure, easy, adoptable. So it has 3 dimensions. So, and you can look into the session recordings there because it was also published on the same group.
Sure. And Mr. One more thing I just wanted to be check. As of now, like everywhere the AI things are going on. Even in Salesforce also they have introduced like handless 360. So like in the Agentforce also is kind of a similar where we are giving a text and getting some result out of it and performing some action in the backend. And at the same time from the handlers as well, like people are like connecting Salesforce with a cloud and doing some kind of operation. So as kind of a like a features perspective and technical use case perspective, have you seen any kind of a like a similarity between these features and how we can segregate the MCP implementation and this agentic implementation?
MCP is something else because MCP is you perform actions from your own IDE where you are the, you know, when you are the executor, you are asking them to do something. And MCP is just a standardized way of connecting things. For example, Salesforce MCP, you can connect it so it understands when somebody is asking. So for example, within your VS Code is a standardized way of developing something. It does not know what Salesforce is. So you install Salesforce MCP along with the things, and now it can understand when you say deploy this class to my org. So this MCP is actually translating those actions. That what does that mean? Deploy to org, which class? What does that mean? So it is that your MCP is just like a standardized way of plugging in things. So your AI things know, for example, Salesforce MCP, your Microsoft .NET MCP. So you can use a standardized way of connecting different things.
Got it.
And agent is your interaction with the LLM, your Einstein trust layer and reasoning engine, which knows if somebody is asking this, what exactly they need to do.
Got it. Thanks, Mr.
Let me see. I think we had it here. Blazor community groups. Let me see if recording is visible here. Because there were 3 sessions. Recordings. Let me check it if because it should be visible on the page itself. I can share it there. Yes, Archana, you wanted to say something? Archana, you are on mute. Okay. So anybody else would like to share anything? Archana, if you can't mute, you can type it here. Let's see if we can. So anybody who joined late, that's what we were discussing, that how it is we are going to do. So if you just not if we can use Agentforce Vibe for optimization, you can use Agentforce Vibes is just where it is. It's just an ID. You can use VS Code, Agentforce Vibe, or anything wherever whether you are using your own IDE. because I saw it. Many people, they are using cursor also. So you can Agentforce ID vibes is just an ID because it is freely available now within your developer org. So it is easier to operate because you don't need to install anything on your local machine. That's why we prefer it. So Pratik, I think that's what we were saying, that so today we were doing the discovery that how we can audit our org, understand what exists, build the complexity scorecard. Then the next episode we are going to cover the metadata. So identify the dead metadata, where exactly the code has problem. We will install some other tools and see. And the third one is the data architecture, where how we can actually assess our data architecture, code quality. The data quality. Then the automation one, where we have multiple overlapping automation patterns like your workflows, process builder, your triggers. Then this fifth one is about security, like permission set model, then governance and DevOps. Then we have integration, and then the final one where we will have a demo with the other people, that when they apply those 7 architect lenses, how actually it works with the Agentforce. Insight on the token optimization to is on token optimization, that is specific to your prompts, your Agentforce configuration. We will not try cover it, but we will have one Salesforce gentleman that who will be. We can ask this question during the live 8th session, that how when within Agentforce how we can optimize the pricing thing, because pricing is not based on the tokens, it is based on the conversation. So if you are doing conversation, it will consume the credits, and actually you cannot control that thing. For example, for when you are talking to Agentforce, you can say do it in this way, but try to think about the customer might try to write stories, and you cannot control that thing. Okay, so anybody else would like to share anything? Lalit is saying that recording, yes, recording will be available, and we will share the link. Because even for the all 3 well architected session, recording was available. We'll check and share the link. Abdul Rahman, this is the first one. You will enjoy more in the upcoming one, because when we will have more live code quality things, when we will assess it. But one thing you can do today, you can install this OrgCheck on your org and try to see where exactly your org stands. Install it on your if you have full copy sandbox, try to install it and you will see surprises.
Hello, Mishma. So, without Agentforce license, can we still, perform all these actions, and after that, can we opt for other AI provider to build agents and all of that?
See that agent, it's not necessary you perform only for Agentforce, but even let's say even if you use any other AI provider, let's say you rather than using Microsoft Agentic Framework, you started using instead of Agentforce, you opt for Microsoft Agentic Framework or something else. So now try to think of it. It will still try to access your data. So these things, whatever you are performing, it will still matter, because your org assessment, your data quality, your permissions, it will still matter, because rather than giving Agentforce some access, you will provide access to your external tool. So for example, external tool is trying to call your Salesforce and trying to fetch data. You need to see how you need to return the correct data. So it doesn't matter whether you use Agentforce or use third-party tool, everything still matters, because even if you don't use Agentforce at all, you still if you need to convert your you need to clean up your legacy org, you still need to perform all those actions.
Yeah, basically we're making, or we can say, AI ready, right?
AI ready, you can say, or let's say, your business, your org is performing like in a very bad way. You are receiving
Right.
errors, you are receiving some other issues, you don't have any clarity, and now you are trying to implement something new which is also breaking. So how actually you
Correct.
solve it? So that is the exactly same thing. Or somebody, let's say you joined a new company, and now your company is saying, can you look into these 1, 2, 3 orgs and create a plan for us? So you still need to have some sort of baseline where you tell them, guys, this is the current situation of your org. Whether it's AI ready or not ready, that's a different question, but still you need to assess your org health, the where exactly how we need to do, uh, what is the quality of data, whether we are performing something optimally or not, whether the org is expandable or not. What about the permission model integrations? So these kind of things you need to consider. But AI is just additional layer over that.
Additional thing.
Yeah.
So we are making org a healthy environment so that we can do whatever we want. Like AI is an additional thing, but at the end of the day, we need to. You are saying that we need to make sure that our data is clean and org is healthy, so that whatever we do on the top of it, be it implementing agents or using Agentforce to do uh, the operations, that's an add-on thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See, one thing we were discussing, that how exactly we know that this org is not good quality, so or it is legacy or requires something. So basically we evaluate those orgs across three patterns, three pillars of well architected framework. So let's say your org, what is the score, how, trusted on that scale, how your org stands for easy, how your org stand for adoptable. Let's say across three pillars, three dimensions, we evaluate each org. So if your org is scoring less, it means your org requires upgrade or cleanup. It could be any other reason, because see, many orgs are more than 10 years old, and it's a pattern. You keep on rolling new things, new things, new things, and at the end you don't no, nobody knows, because by the 10 years pass, it might have 4 different teams has work on those stuff, and nobody remembers what exactly happened. So that's why whenever they are doing org audit, uh, any Salesforce technical architect, what they do, they assess these org across the well architected framework. Now if then your objective could be anything, whether you want to make it Agentforce ready, whether you want to start a new org, whether is there any merge or demerge scenario where your companies got acquired or something. It could be any reason, or you are just doing assessment for yourself.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right. So anybody else, or shall we close it for today? Reshma, you have anything?
No, Miss Ba, all good.
Oh,
Thank you.
all right. Thank you very much, guys. So if you are not in that group, please make sure that you are in the Salesforce developer group, because we will post everything there rather than sending emails, or so that's why we kept it at one place.
You have SCOM.
So if you are, let me just open it for you. So where is the And you can search for UAE. This is the group, because we will post everything, all the links, it will be posted here. Because anybody who joined during TDX, there was a complete group we created during TDX challenge. So everything, all session recordings, everything was posted there. So you same way you can join this group, and everything, all the updates, links, code, it will be posted here. And even I sent you one email to everybody yesterday, so it has link to all the upcoming sessions. So same sessions, 8 sessions, you can directly click from here and RSVP. It's all on during Sundays from 11 to 1 p.m. And you can post your questions here. And anybody who would like to share anything or answer the question, just make sure on the LinkedIn, just use the correct hashtag, because it will be easier for the team to keep track of who has posted what. Okay. All right, then. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank you, Misbah.
you.